What is up, guys? Rickackis here, and we're going to be looking at what is the best raid primary for the King's Fall raid introduced in the Taken King DLC in Destiny. Now, these primaries include the Zyliss Bane hand cannon, the Anguish of Dristan auto rifle, the Doom of Chelchis scout rifle, and lastly, the Smite of Merain pulse rifle. Now, before we break these guns down individually, let's go over the attributes that they share in common. Now, all of these weapons have two raid perks. The first one is a passive perk that is unlocked as an additional perk slot called Will of Light. Now, this is going to give you a 10% damage boost against taken enemies. This is actually a really awesome perk because it doesn't take up any perk slot. It's not like the Prison of Elders perks like Shank Burn that actually took away from having a normal perk. This is just passively unlocked in the background, and as such, it's nothing but a benefit. All of these raid primaries also have the Cocoon perk. What this does is that it reloads the gun when it's stowed away. So if you're using any of these guns and you have the Cocoon perk unlocked, if you switch to a sniper rifle and use that for a little bit, for example, and switch back to any of these weapons, they will be fully reloaded. Now, although that may not sound like that incredible of a thing at first, it has proven to be one of the best perks in the game because it allows you to increase your damage per second against bosses astronomically. Imagine, if you will, using any of these raid primaries, being able to empty an entire magazine on a boss's head, for example, and this comes up a lot in the actual King's Fall raid. Then you're able to switch to your sniper rifle, for example, empty that magazine on the boss, dealing tons of damage, go back to your primary, it's going to be reloaded and you get to empty a whole nother magazine. Now, if you actually have a special weapon or a heavy weapon that has Cocoon as well, you can keep switching back and forth between your Cocoon guns and never have to stop to reload, which again is going to do wonders for your damage per second. Now, interestingly, all of the raid weapons for King's Fall actually have a randomized perk in the final perk slot. So you can actually get different versions of these guns, and the only thing they'll have differently is this final perk, but it can make a difference. Now, to find the best raid primary, let's start eliminating some of the members of the competition so we can narrow down the field. Now, the first gun we can definitely eliminate is the Anguish of Dristan auto rifle. The main downside of this auto rifle is that it has simply atrocious recoil. You're going to see right now I'm comparing it to a Suros auto rifle, and it's just so much worse. Now, amazingly, I actually still get people telling me that this gun is usable and that I just need to learn how to control recoil. The only problem with that is that there's literally no advantage to learning how to control the recoil for this gun. You would definitely have that argument if this gun had more damage than usual, maybe higher range, better reload, even a bigger magazine size. But it has none of those things. The magazine size is actually pretty close to the Suros you saw in the comparison, and that Suros actually does the exact same damage and rate of fire as the Anguish of Dristan. Oh, and it has better range. So when you have atrocious recoil like the Anguish of Dristan does, and then you have absolutely zero statistics that stand out and are a benefit for this gun, you simply have an all-around pretty useless gun. However, like I've been over, the raid perks are very good for all of these weapons, and it spawns with quite a high light from 300 to 310, so if this is your only raid primary, you can totally justify using it for a little bit, but I would try to recommend getting a replacement as soon as possible. Now, the next gun I would eliminate is the Zyliss Bane hand cannon. Now, I want to immediately say that I don't want you guys to think I'm saying eliminate the auto rifle, then right after that eliminate the hand cannon. The hand cannon is so much better than the auto rifle. It is of distant second last. And as such, you can totally justify using this weapon, especially if you don't really have a lot of other good primary weapons. However, the Zyliss Bane has been eliminated simply because, again, it kind of falls behind in the stats. The problem here is a really atrocious range statistic. It's extremely low. This gun does actually shoot faster than a lot of other hand cannons, however, damage is lowered to compensate for this. But again, the stats of this hand cannon simply don't really work well together. You obviously want to increase the range because it's just so low. But the perks that increase the range actually lower the stability, which you want to keep high because the rate of fire is high, and you need to have a high stability if you want to be actually utilizing one of its benefits, its rate of fire, and still landing your shots. So you're trying to increase one perk, but that lowers the other, and you're just trying to balance an overall not great package of stats. So we've narrowed the field down to the Doom of Chelchis Scout Rifle and the Smite of Merain Pulse Rifle. Now, which one of these guns is best? Well, to be quite honest, it's very close between these two weapons. During my testing of this video, I was actually going back and forth to which gun I thought was best. In the end, I think the best King's Fall raid primary is the Doom of Chelchis Scout Rifle. And again, it was quite close. You can make a very compelling argument for the Smite of Merain. Firstly, it's a pulse rifle. Pulse rifles are in a great position right now. They were the recipient of like a 25-30% buff against PvE enemies in the Taken King patch 2.0, so they're doing a lot of damage. This scout rifle in particular, although it actually has kind of higher recoil, its recoil is almost purely vertical, so it's very easy to control. Also, because it's a pulse rifle, I also really liked it because of that. You're going to be using snipe rifles a lot in the raid because you're fighting so many bosses, and the best thing to use against those bosses is snipe rifles. The DPS on snipe rifles is just way higher than anything else, definitely more than fusion rifles. You can't even get DPS with a shotgun when you're at range. So when you're utilizing a sniper rifle, you're kind of going to want something that's a little bit better in close to medium range, and that's going to fall actually to the pulse rifle. You can hip fire your way out of situations better with a pulse rifle than you can with a scout rifle. So why did I even pick the scout rifle? Well, to be honest, I just liked it better. I was out testing and getting footage for the scout rifle, and then I switched to the pulse rifle. And using the pulse rifle, although I did enjoy utilizing it, I honestly missed the scout rifle. To be quite honest, all of these guns have pretty average statistics. The days of the Fatebringer and the Vision of Confluence are over. If any of these guns were just legendary weapons and didn't have these raid perks, you wouldn't even give them a second look. However, in a field of average, the scout rifle was simply the best choice. And again, although this weapon's stats don't really stand out, there's nothing wrong with them either. Stability isn't great, but it isn't poor, and it helps that this gun is a scout rifle. You don't really need incredibly high stability because you're shooting this single shot. Although it should be noted that you can actually get the full auto perk for this scout rifle, which I think would be amazing. I know someone who has it. They say it's quite effective. But in any event, the ease of use is simply the best with the scout rifle. You have absolutely no problem getting precision shots with this weapon. You have no problem getting multiple precision shots on a boss. And if you put small bore on, you still have a 17 round scout rifle that reloads when you're using another weapon. And the high damage per shot of this weapon means that you can easily put enemies in a stun lock. So in my opinion, the best King's Fall primary is the Doom of Chelchis Scout Rifle. In a close second, it is the Smite of Merain Pulse Rifle. In a closer third, it's definitely the Zyliss Bane Hand Cannon. And the kid in the wheelchair with a participation badge is the Anguish of Dristan. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to rate and share this video. It really helps me out. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more Destiny content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way is on Twitter. That's going to be linked in the description of this video, as is my Twitch channel, which you can follow as well. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.